detailed structure of anatropous ovule. In this class, we will be studying some special structures associated with ovule. The first one is obturator. Now, when pollen grains are deposited on the stigma, this is the ovary. Inside the ovary, ovule is present. This is the ovule. Inside the ovule, embryo sac is present. Inside the embryo sac, egg is present. This is the stigma. When pollen grain deposited on the stigma, the pollen grain consists of two cells. One is vegetative cell and another one is generative cell. Now this vegetative cell forms pollen tube. Now this pollen tube, it starts then moving downside like this. So when pollen grain deposit on the stigma, the vegetative cell of the pollen grain forms pollen tube, which starts moving towards the downside, towards the ovule. Now, this pollen tube can enter the ovule by many ways. It can enter through chalaza end, or it can enter through integuments, or it can enter through micropyle. So there are three ways by which pollen tube can enter the ovule, but it always enters the embryo sac. Now this one is the embryo sac through micropyle. So it always enters through the micropyle. This we need to remember. Now this pollen tube is formed, but in case of anatropous ovule, the pollen tube shows curvature, that is 180 degree. It shows orientation. So when pollen grains deposited on stigma, the vegetative cell forms pollen tube which starts moving downside. But in anatropous ovule, shows orientation, curvature, 180 degree. So the movement of the pollen tube towards the micropyle end requires some guidance. So movement of pollen tube towards the micropyle requires some guidance, and this guidance is provided by obturator, and the guidance is provided by obturator. Now you can ask me, sir, what is this obturator then? This obturator are the outgrowths formed by funicle or placenta. show you here. This is what obturator. Here is the placenta. So this is obturator. Now you can ask me, sir, how it provides guidance? This obturator produces some chemicals. And this chemical shows guidance. Therefore, I can say it is a chemical guidance. So, first function of the obturator is providing guidance to the pollen tube towards the micropylate. Now, the second function of the obturator is provide nutrition to pollen tube. It also provides nutrition to pollen tube. The third function is it also provides support to pollen tube. Hope clear है. Obturator outgrowths है formed by funicle and placenta. ये पोलन ट्यूब को रास्ता दिखाता है माइक्रोपाइल की तरफ, क्योंकि एनोट्रोपस ऑयल में ओव्यूल घुमा हुआ है, ओरिएंटेशन है, घुमा हुआ है, नीचे की तरफ ऐसे घुमा हुआ है. दूसरा फंक्शन है इसका पोलन ट्यूब को न्यूट्रिशन देना, और तीसरा फंक्शन है इसका पोलन ट्यूब को सपोर्ट देना. सो द फर्स्ट स्पेशल स्ट्रक्चर एसोसिएटेड विद ओव्यूल इज obturator. Obturator, you can say one of the important question for NEET examination. Now, दूसरा स्ट्रक्चर है, the second structure associated with ovule is endothelium. Now, we all know inside the ovule nucellus is present. This nucellus is a nutritive tissue. Second, it provides nutrition to the embryo sac. दूसरा है, it is covered by integuments. There are two integuments. But in some plants, like Asteraceae family, in some plants, Asteraceae family, this nucellus degenerates at early stage. The nucellus degenerates at early stage. तो नुसेलस खत्म हो गया. अब नुसेलस खत्म हुआ तो फिर ये न्यूट्रिशन एम्ब्रियो सैक को न्यूट्रिशन कौन देगा? क्वेश्चन ये आता है. अगर मैं डायग्रामेटिकली दिखाऊं आपको तो ये है ओव्यूल, ये है एम्ब्रियो सैक, और एम्ब्रियो सैक के आसपास है न्यूट्रिटिव टिश्यू नुसेलस. सो दिस इज नुसेलस, और ये है इंटेग्यूमेंट्स. तो अब क्या हुआ? नुसेलस खत्म हो गया, नुसेलस पूरा डीजनरेट हो गया. तो नाउ एम्ब्रियो सैक को न्यूट्रिशन कौन देगा? नाउ व्हाट विल हैपन? द इनर इंटेग्यूमेंट, ये वाला, दिस इज आउटर, दिस इज इनर. द इनर इंटेग्यूमेंट forms a layer of cells. Now this layer of cells now provide nutrition to embryo sac. So the inner layer of, or the layer of cells formed by inner integument is called as endothelium. So what is endothelium? Layer of cells formed by inner integument. Now, this inner integument layer of cells now provide nutrition to embryo sac. So, the layer of cells formed by inner integument provides nutrition to embryo sac. Now you can see this inner integument layer is providing nutrition. Hence, this endothelium is also known as integumentary tapetum. It is also known as integumentary tapetum. You can expect this question for NEET also. So, which layer is in integumentary tapetum? Endothelium. What is endothelium? Layer of cells formed by inner integument. The third special structure associated with ovule is aril. Now, what is aril? Aril is the outgrowth formed by funicle. Outgrowth formed by funicle. And these outgrowths now covers the entire ovule. So the outgrowth which covers the entire ovule, they are called as aril. Now, if you see diagrammatically, this is the ovule. Inside the ovule, embryo sac is present. Inside the embryo sac, egg is present. Here there is a placenta. Now, you see these are the outgrowths. Now, these outgrowths are called as aril. Now, these outgrowths now covers the entire ovule. Now, the outgrowths of funicle which cover the entire ovule, they are called as aril. Now you can see the ovule is covered by one integument, two integument, and this one is the third covering, third integument. So that's why aril is also known as third integument. So which one is the third integument? Aril. Important question for the NEET. Now, this aril, in some plants, it is fleshy, and in some plants, it is dry. Fleshy, when I say fleshy, it is edible. We can eat it raw. The best example for this is lychee. In lychee plant, the aril is fleshy. In case of ingadules, also known as myristica, In this plant, the aril is dry. Now this dry aril is used as spice. Remember, मसाले के तौर पर इसको यूज किया जाता है. And the spice is known as mace. One of the important NEET level question. Now, the process of megasporogenesis and megagametogenesis. Let's understand first megasporogenesis. Now, megasporogenesis is the process of formation of megaspore. The process of formation of megaspore from megaspore mother cell by meiosis is called as megasporogenesis. The second most important thing, megasporogenesis takes place inside the ovule. Inside the ovule. Now, we all know this ovule is covered by integuments. It is covered by integuments, and second, it consists of nutritive tissue called nucellus. Consists a nutritive tissue called nucellus. Now, what happens in megasporogenesis? Some of the nucellar cells divides and forms archisporial cells. These archisporial cells then develops into megaspore mother cell, MMC. Now this megaspore mother cell, which is a diploid, undergoes meiosis and forms linear tetrad of megaspore. So here is the linear tetrad of megaspore. So 4 megaspores are formed, and all these 4 megaspores are haploid because it is undergoing meiosis. So there are 4 megaspores formed which are linear in position. Now, out of these 4 linear tetrad of megaspore, generally the upper 3 will degenerate. The upper 3 will degenerate, and the lower one remains functional. And this functional megaspore, one functional megaspore, then enlarges into embryo sac. And this embryo sac consists female gamete or egg. Now, megasporogenesis is formation of megaspore from the megaspore mother cell. This is megasporogenesis. And the development of embryo sac, which consists female gamete egg, from the megaspore. Now, this is known as megagametogenesis. So simple idea is megaspore mother cell becomes megaspore. Megaspore develops into embryo sac, and embryo sac consists female gamete. So megaspore mother cell becomes megaspore, that is megasporogenesis. Megaspore becomes embryo sac, which consists female gamete, that is egg. This process is called as megagametogenesis. So we'll understand now how this megaspore develops and forms embryo sac. Now we understood the megaspore mother cell develops into megaspore. Megaspore develops into embryo sac, and embryo sac develops in consists female gamete. Now let's see types of embryo sac. According to P. Maheshwari, there are 3 types of embryo sac. On the basis of number of megaspore nuclei involved in its development. So this classification based on number of nuclei of megaspore involved in its development. They are: 1. Monosporic embryo sac. Second one is bisporic embryo sac. Third one is tetrasporic embryo sac. So there are 3 types of embryo sac: monosporic, bisporic, tetrasporic. Now let's see first monosporic development of embryo sac. In monosporic development of embryo sac, development of embryo sac is also called as female gametophyte or female gametophyte from a single functional megaspore or from a single nucleus. This question will be asked for PUC board 1 mark. We'll ask you this question for 1 mark. Now, how this takes place? Let's see. Here, this is a megaspore mother cell, that is MMSC, megaspore mother cell. This is micropyline and this is chalazyme. And we all know the megaspore mother cells are diploid. This megaspore mother cell then undergoes meiosis 1 First it undergoes karyokinesis. Therefore, two nuclei are formed because karyokinesis is division of nucleus. Then it undergoes cytokinesis, that is two cells are formed. So the megaspore mother cell first undergoes meiosis 1 and forms two nuclei, and then it undergoes cytokinesis, that is two cells are formed. Now this condition is called as dyad. Now this dyad then undergoes meiosis 2. Again, first undergoes karyokinesis, then undergoes cytokinesis and forms a linear tetrad of megaspore. So this is linear tetrad of megaspore. Now here the two cells formed, remember they are haploid, then it undergoes meiosis 2. These all four linear tetrad are again haploid. Now we already studied the four linear tetrad of megaspore is formed. Out of four, usually three degenerates and the lower one remains functional. Now we'll see what happens to this linear tetrad of megaspore in case of Polygonum. Is a plant and in Enothera plant. In Polygonum, what happens? The lower megaspore remains functional and the upper three will degenerate. But in case of Enothera, remember the upper one remains functional and the lower three degenerates. And this functional megaspore then enlarges, undergoes development, develops into embryo sac. And here also the functional megaspore undergoes development and forms embryo sac. Now we need to understand here is the difference in Polygonum and Enothera. In Polygonum, the upper three will degenerate and the lower one remains functional. In Enothera plants, the lower three will degenerate and the upper one remain functional, which forms embryo sac. In both the cases, functional megaspore forms embryo sac. Now, monosporic development of embryo sac is the most common one, and in monosporic there are two types now. One is in case of Polygonum, another one is in case of Enothera, and Polygonum type of embryo sac development is most common. This is a NEET level question. You can expect this in NEET.